This video is going to show you how to answer the exercise on Khan Academy with the title, Features of a Circle from its Expanded Equation. This exercise in particular was assigned on the first week of distance learning. Now when I scroll down to show you the question, you're going to notice that there's already quite a bit of writing on the right side of the screen. What I'm going to ask you to do is to pretend it's not there until I talk about it. The reason why I pre-wrote a lot of the terms and the variables is because there's quite a lot of writing that's going to happen, and I wanted to make the video as short as I possibly can so I don't lose your attention. Okay, so just follow along with what I say and look at where my mouse is pointing at. All right, so what we are given here is an equation of a circle that is in its expanded form. Now, if you're being asked to find the center of a circle or the radius of the circle, it's going to be much easier to determine those once you find what your equation is in standard form. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to find the equivalent equation of what is given to us, but we're going to put it in standard form instead. Okay? Now the first thing that I did was I copied the equation that was given to me. So this line is exactly the same as my given. The next thing that I did is that I added 9 on both sides of my equal sign. Now the reason I did that was because I wanted to get rid of that -9 on the left side of the equal sign and have all my constants on the right side of the equal sign. So 0 plus 9 gave me a +9 on the right side of the equation. On the left side, what I had left was x squared plus y squared minus 4x and minus 12y. Now the next thing I did on this line was just to group things together that had the same variable. So I noticed that we had x squared, and I put that together with a -4x in this parentheses. And in my second parentheses, I put all the y's together. So I had y squared, and there's also a -12y. Now the next step that we're going to do is completing the square. Completing the square is something we practiced a lot in fall semester. So I'm going to go over like the quick version of what completing the square looks like. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at what b equals. In this case, b is equal to -4. Now you're going to think to yourself, what are two numbers, the exact same numbers, that when you add together, they equal -4? Well, -2 plus -2 will equal -4. So these are the same numbers, and when added together will become -4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my box so we can complete the square. Oops. Let's make that a little bit nicer. All right, and I'm going to erase this to give us a little space. So the variable we're using here is x. So I'm going to put that on this side of my square. And then we found that -2 and -2 add up to b, which is -4. So let's go ahead and multiply these terms together. So x times x will give you x squared. X times -2 will give us a -2x. -2 times x will give us again a -2x. Now these are the terms that we already know about. X squared is here, and then these two, because they are like terms, added together will give you that -4x. Now what's going to complete the square is -2 times -2, which is 4. So a +4 is going to complete the square. Now, why do we need to complete the square? The reason we need to complete the square is if you look at standard form, we see that there is actually a binomial being squared. The only way we can get to this is is if we have a perfect square trinomial. So we're completing it with a positive 4. And because I added a positive 4 on the left side of my equal sign, I have to keep things balanced. So I'm going to add 4 on the right side of my equal sign. Now we're going to do the same thing with a y. The first thing we're going to do again is we're going to look at b. In this case, it's negative 12. Now think to yourself, what is a number, this same exact number, that when you add together become a negative 12? That answer is negative 6, because negative 6 added to negative 6, remember they have to be the same exact number. Negative 6 plus negative 6 will be a negative 12. So like we did earlier, let's go ahead and draw our box. The variable we're using here is y. I'm going to go ahead and erase this to have some space. And remember the number we found was negative 6. So I'm putting that here. Okay. All right, let's multiply. Y times y will give us y squared. Negative 6 times y will give us a negative 6y. Negative 6 times y will give you again negative 6y. All right. And again, up until this point, these are all the terms that already exist here. Y squared is here, and these two terms added together will become negative 12y. Now, what's going to make this a perfect square trinomial is 36. And we got 36 from multiplying negative 6 times negative 6. So we've got a positive 36. Now remember, our goal this whole time was to create two perfect square trinomials, because the only way we're going to get to standard form is if we can factor them out as a square of binomials. Now because we added 36 on the left side of the equation, we have to balance it out and add 36 on the right side of the equation as well. Right. So let's go ahead and simplify now. This first perfect square trinomial perfectly factors out into x minus 2 squared, because x minus 2 times x minus 2 will give you this trinomial. Plus, this perfect square trinomial perfectly factors out to y minus 6 squared. And you may begin to see why it was necessary for us to make it into a perfect square trinomial. It is now actually quite easy to identify our h and our k, but we'll get into that later. Let's put our equal sign where it belongs, right here. And let's simplify this right side. We've got 9 plus 4, which is going to give us 13. 13 plus 36 is going to give us 49. All right, let's identify our h and our k first. Now, based on standard form, our h will be the number being subtracted to x, which in this case is 2. Our k is the number being subtracted from y, which in this case is 6. And our r is going to be the base if we take the square root of 49. So again, 49 is the same as 7 times 7, or 7 squared. And this r, the radius, is the base. So the radius of the circle is 7 units long.